Hello YouTube. Alright, so today I'm gonna be doing this test video. Let's X that out and show you guys how to draw a skeleton or a simple skull. So, and my damn phone keeps going off. Let's start with the eye. Increase that a little bit, and ta-da! There's that. And let's make the ball socket. Let's trim those extra lines. Oops, there we go. That's the cool part about Adobe Fresco. You can do that, which I like a lot. And then let's make some lines over here. Double tap. No. There we go. Triple tap. One line there. One line there. Now we have one eye made. Now let's make another eye. Another eye. Can't even speak right. Okay. Here goes another line. Ta-da! The same thing here, and this time let's do this on the same side. The line over there, another line there, one more here, one more here, and triple tap. Voila! This is the part I like the most about Adobe Fresco, is the fact that you can just erase lines on command and not have to worry about going too far into your line work. Let's start with the nose. Make another line over here. Triple tap. Ta-da! There we go. Now let's work on the head of the skull. That looks nice. Go way around here. Give some little cheekbones. Another one there. Now let's try the teeth. So for the teeth, I like to start in the center, right below the nose, and I like to do them in this little upside down triangular looking shape. So there's one, and then the other one I like to start it out by joining that over there. Over there you have two teeth. So now, since the skull is spherical, the teeth that I like to draw next, I like to make it look a little bit smaller, kind of going off into the distance. Alright, there's another one, and another one. Then we'll do the same thing on this side. Ta-da! And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to join this tooth, this cheekbone over there, and now let's give the teeth some definition so that it looks like kind of got the grunge look to it. Making these little lines on the teeth. Oops. Let's try that. That's something I don't like with digital art, the line skipping. Yes, you can always erase it with a double tap, but with a good old pencil, you gotta stop what you're doing, pick up the eraser, and then start over. So let's give some little what do you want to call it, the look that there were there was some little bit of gum tissue left behind, and obviously it's black with a nice grunge feel to it. Another line over here. Alright, now what I'm gonna do is, let's give the skull a jaw and no teeth. There. Connect it over to the cheekbone. Ooh, look at that. I don't like that. Double tap, ta-da. Voila. Now we got our skull head. Now let's start some shading. So I'm gonna choose my paint bucket tool, and I'm just gonna tap in the eye. 1, 2, 3. We got the illusion of death. Come back to that. Now let's start a little bit of some line work on the eyes. There's one over there and one over there. You gotta like all these email notifications. They always decide to come when you're making a YouTube video. I should have probably turned my tablet to airplane mode. I'm gonna make another line over here. Line over here. And one over there. It's looking good. Now let's start coloring this. So for that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another layer, and I want this layer to be below this layer. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this layer a reference layer. So whatever I color, all the color will come on this layer, but it will stay within this line art. So for the color, let's go with a nice, maybe a beige color. That looks nice. I'm gonna use the paint bucket, and I'm gonna try that with traditional art. You just tap and boom. I'm gonna tap some. Alright, so now for this color over here, what I want to do is, and I've already messed it up. See what I was just telling you? I wanted to color on this layer, and instead I've colored on the line art. So the good thing about digital art, see, I can tell I've been drawing traditional way too long, is you can double tap and undo things, which is nice, because if I'd done this traditionally, there would be no double tap. So this time let's select the correct layer. Let's try that again. So, and then this time I choose vector, obviously. Do the exact same thing. And we're right back to where we started or left off. So now for this colors over here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with a little bit of a darker shade of the yellowish orange spectrum. And let's try that. I'm gonna be doing the same thing. Just gonna tap. And you know what? Let's give the teeth a little different color. So let's give the teeth kind of like a little bit of a palish. I don't want to do it as white, because then you're not going to be able to tell the difference. So let's go with that. Look at that, it looks the same. So let's try that. There we go. Now boom, there we go. And there's not a big difference, it's just like a subtle difference. You have this is one color, this is another color, Then we have this. So now let's do the fun part, which is the shading. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer. And now with this layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this as a clipping mask. And what that does is this layer, whatever I color in this layer, is only going to show up on this layer over here. And let's get it right this time. So got the correct layer selected, and I want the colors to end up on this layer. So with this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this color, and then I'm just going to choose a little bit of a darker shade. Tap over there, and let's start with this towards the edge, because you want the skull to have this nice 3D look to it. Let's see if this works. So see, now if I use the pen over here, it doesn't really show me nothing because it's a clipping mask. So all it does is it just shows the shading that I'm doing underneath on this layer. And what's cool about it is you can color as quickly as you want or as slowly as you want, and your line and the shading that you're doing will never go past the line art. And here's a new trick, or what I like to do, sort of kind of give it like that more textured look. What I do is I zoom in and I select the eraser, and then you just tap. So what it does is it gives you the illusion that I'm actually using two colors for the shading, but actually what's happening is I'm just erasing these little dots. And then what I do is I come back to this, touch that again, got the paintbrush, and boom. I want to give it like, you know, almost kind of like a spray pattern look. It's, say if you had masked out this area, if you were spray painting the skull, kind of like the overspray that would show up. That. Here's another one thing I like to do is I use a selection tool, and I just start out within the line work. You don't have to do it within this line work, but I just do it that way. And then you select that till there. Voila. Now you can come back to the paint bucket, and then boom, just drop that in there, deselect it, and now you got all this shading done. And it's actually like, almost like, I don't know if it's considered cheating, but hey, if you can make your life easier, why not? Alright, so I'm just gonna select the eraser and do this little dots, and not dots really, but erase the pen marks. Looks good. Okay. Well, people, sorry for that little blimp in the video, because I was recording and my phone decided to shut off. The joys of having a good old iPhone. And if you're wondering what iPhone it is, it's an old iPhone 1S or 1E. It's actually my daughter's older phone. So I figured, why not use it to record? I mean, like, yeah, the wonderful battery only stays up till about 70%, and then it just starts to die really quickly. Okay, so let's pick up from where we left off. So what I was doing last, before I realized that the damn phone stopped recording, is I was doing this shading on this point, and I came to here. So let's pick up from there. So what I'm going to do is And my daughter's calling me, so I gotta stop again. Well, I guess at this point I will call this take 3. It almost feels like I'm on a set recording a video clip or a series of shows. But anyway, where was I? Yes, I was coloring this, so let's get back to that. And we will continue the shading. This type of shading is something that I tried with some earlier pieces that I did, and I like the look that it gives the skulls. The more kind of what do you call it, textured look. There. Let's color that up too. Shade that again. Okay, let's give a little bit of some shadow over here. And give some shadow over here as well. Some line work again over here. And some line work over here. All right. Maybe some work over here as well. Let's do the subtract for the shadow look. All right. So now let's move over to this color over here, and I'm gonna select it and just choose a darker shade of that. See how that does. Okay, that'll do. Now let's color the inside of the eyes. Start the line over here and there. So since this is the inner part of the eye, the shadow gives it more of a view of the illusion. Well, not the illusion, but that it's got depth. So you have the darker, complete inner part of this skull, which would be dark, and then you'd have the light or the darker shade of this color over here. Let's do that for the nose as well. So I kind of forgot to do these textured lines, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select black, and I'm going to switch back to this layer, and then I'm going to come back and give it that nice textured look. Over there. Now maybe some more work over here. The good thing about drawing skulls, what I like is every skull you draw can be as unique as you want it to be, just like how we are as people. You can get one skull a big eye over here, and then make the other one smaller over here. And let's give some more texture, some line and some cracks over here. And maybe let's do some line work over there. And some line work over there. Since this is my first video of a series of videos that I'm going to be making, this one is more, I'm sure I can do better, but this one is just pretty much, the reason I chose to do this video is since I live in a house, or we are a big family, so everybody has different sleep schedules, so I'm trying to create content for my YouTube channel, but at the same time I'm trying to see what I can do that has the most efficient use of my time. And I notice whenever I try to not structurally, but I actually try to make a video as perfect as it can get, it always ends up looking what do you want to call it, very thought out and very meticulously done. But once I start listening to it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I could do better. So this is what I would like to do going forward, is do these how-to tutorial videos and see what the audience response to it is. Let me take this release reference layer off, and what I'm going to do is I am going to use the selection tool over here, and I'm gonna make a little moon shape in the left eye, and I'm gonna do a similar shape in this eye. And then erase, hit deselect, and now magically you have eyes created for a skull that had no eyes to begin. I mean, it's not really eyes, but alright. So let's set as reference back on. I'm going to choose the color layer, and let's drop the same color of the teeth into that, and there, just like that. By doing those two little steps, I first selected the line art layer, used the reference tool, and I selected, or not selected, but I drew out a shape, kind of like a random, like an abstract looking moon, crescent moon. Started out with the left eye, walked to the right eye, deleted it, and now just like that you change the whole look of the drawing to what it was. What it was before this and what it was now. So alright, so select that, come back to the shadow layer, and we will continue off with this shadow drawing that I was doing, and I'll give this eye another shadow look. Let me check to see if my phone is still recording and we're still in business and I'm not talking to myself. And I'm gonna continue to shade. Alright, so now I've got that done. I'm gonna pick a color or a shade for this color over here. So I'm gonna select that, go to the color swatch, and just do that. Let's try that. And that looks a little bit too dark. Let's try that again. Let's try this. Okay, that looks better. Now for the teeth, let's try. Okay, actually, let's try the select tool. Let's try something different over here. So I use the selection tool and just start out like that. You could get the same look if you did it with the pen or the pencil, but this kind of speeds things up a little bit, and then you just use the paint bucket and deselect, and now you've got this really cool looking almost like a flame pattern, and you just repeat it on the other ones like that. What I like about this selection tool is, even though I've selected this, I can go in and start a new selection for this tooth. Or I don't know if you can do the same thing in Photoshop. I haven't tried it, and I found this option in this tool totally by mistake. I mean, when I was not really recording and I was just making another drawing or an illustration, I was like, that's cool, it's a nice feature. So you don't have to keep selecting and doing one thing at a time. You just choose a selection tool and off you go. You can really make this play around with it as much as you want. You see, each and every tooth has its own design, so it almost looks like it kind of has like that nice Halloween look to it, which has got these kind of look like the windows of a house, and maybe like there's some sort of a fire on the inside. But yeah, thoughts that run through my head while I'm drawing. Let's do that. And then this very last one, select that. And voila. So with that being said, we have officially got the most of the shading done. Well, not all of it, but okay. So what I want to do now for these teeth, I want to give him like a little bit of a highlight look. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the paintbrush. I'm going to select that again, and I'm going to select a little bit of a lighter color. Let's see how that looks. It's too light, or not as light enough I want it. Let's try that more. There we go. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make it look like the light source is coming. I always struggle with this, but I'm gonna see if I can get this right. I'm gonna try the light source maybe coming in from like left or right, and I'm gonna use the selection tool and give it that same flame look. Alright, let's do that. Okay, so did that, and now we deselect. Now got this nice three colors. So you have the lighter colors showing like the light from the top. You've got the original color over here, and then you have the shadow down here. So let's go ahead and do it for the rest of the teeth. And I hope, you are not hearing all these unnecessary noises. I kind of stay close enough to a road, so occasionally now and then you'll hear these buses that go back and forth, and for whatever reason they feel the need to blow their horns. So that's, if the camera mic picks it up, I apologize for that. And let's try that. Deselect. And I'm gonna obviously do it for the rest of these teeth. Oops. Shade that again. Deselect. And do it for these. When you're in this phase and you're actually doing the shading on these drawings, there's so much stuff you can really play around with when it comes to the color that you can't really do a whole lot when it comes to traditional. I mean, when you draw traditionally and you want to shade something or you want to color something, I mean, you gotta, once you pick that color, I mean, you gotta run with it. There's no fixing it. I mean, yes, you could fix it, but it just takes so much time. But now with digital, for whatever reason, if I didn't like this, I mean, I can just select all of that and then just shade, or sorry, use the eraser and then just erase all of that and restart over. So that's what I like about digital art. But given that I learned how to draw with traditional, I mean, it's always fun to do both, but this one does make making art a lot more quicker than traditional. I mean, I love doing traditional work. There's a whole lot more you can do with traditional in like line work. Like now for this, I mean, if I want, I can do this and then press the pen down and I get this different variation in the texture, and then I can just double tap, well, touch my fingers down twice and it goes away, which you can't really do in now if I did that exact same gesture in a traditional, I mean, you would have had like an indent in the paper and that would be it. So you gotta really be mindful and really think what you're gonna do before you do it when you do traditional art. But with digital, I mean, there's so much. I mean, you know, you do this and boom, it's just gone like that. See that little thing? Boom, that's gone again. All right, so now let's shade the top of the skull, and again I'm gonna select this color, go to my color wheel, and since this is on a white background, I don't really think it's gonna make, well, it's honestly gonna look like I've erased it. And let's try that. Well, you can, it's very minute and you can't really see it, so you know what, actually let's not do the shading on this color. Let's just pretend this is the light coming in. So with that, that's the, yeah, its skull does look small on that page. So here's another cool thing. Let's try this. Let's try turning the reference layer off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can resize the skull. So I'm going to click on this layer, drag it over this. Now it's together. Then I'm going to click that and then I'm going to drag that over that. And now I'm going to try and resize the skull. See if that happens. Okay, I guess it does happen. Okay. Now this is a real game changer when it comes to the digital world of drawing art. This skull that I originally drew in this size, you can scale it up as big as you want. And then you can turn it anti-clockwise or clockwise, and then once it's let's center it. You see these little blue lines that show up on the canvas when you hit the plus? There we go. That means it's centered. Hit done, and it's centered on this canvas. If I zoom out, you can see it's centered, but now is it straight? No, it's not straight, but it kind of almost looks like the skull is looking down that way. Well, he's kind of a little cockeyed, so it kind of looks like he's looking in both directions, but at the same time he's also looking down. So let's ungroup that. And what else do I want to do? Let's choose the black again, and let's give it some more texture, so it's got that more nice rugged look to it. Do some dots over here. Give it more of some texture. Some dots over here. And another thing I've started doing in most of my skulls is I like drawing these little hearts. And this is not one of the perfect hearts I've drawn, but oh, you know what? Let's select that, erase, deselect. Let's try that again. Yeah. All right, let's. There we go. And now we'll use the paint bucket tool and drop that in there. Use that selection. There we go. We have a heart. Let's use a selection tool and turn that around. Done. Deselect, and I think that's good for a starting video, and I'm gonna be doing more of these, so let me know what y'all thought about this. Give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down or thumb sideways or whatever. But I will catch y'all on the next video. Till the next time, keep creating, keep drawing. I'll see y'all down the road or on the other side. Bye for now.